Good morning. Let's see if I can find myself. Let's see. Why can't I find myself? There we go. Hi, Donna. Get it to the top. Kill the volume. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Danette. Hi, Kelly. Nice to see everybody today. Thank you for joining me. Who else did I miss on there? I saw Tina, Kelly, Adrian, Jean, Janet. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to work with some blocks and ink today, and we're going to do something fun. It's a pretty fun technique. I have a couple options, and I was going to just do one, but I was like, well, we'll try one with all three and see how they turn out. Oh, I'm glad you're able to join, Danette. Nice to see you. Hi, Karen. Hi, Debbie. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Sherry. Hope you're well. Hi, Wanda. Thank you guys all for stopping in today. Don't forget, through August 3rd, you can shop. Is it no, maybe it's not August 3rd. I don't think it's August 3rd. I think it's July 31st. I might be wrong. Maybe it is August 3rd. I'll clarify later. Bonus days. If you spend $50 before tax and shipping, you earn a $5 coupon to use next month, which is cool because it starts on August 4th, which is when the catalog goes. So I think it's July 1st to August 3rd is bonus days. I'm pretty sure it goes till August 3rd. I may be wrong, but I'm hoping it's August 3rd. Catalogs should be coming soon. I know someone asked me about catalogs. If anyone who is a customer of mine has gotten a catalog, would you please comment and let me know? I'm not 100% sure. I got mine, but mine was the one that came from Stampin' Up, and I usually send one to myself, and I have not gotten it yet. So if you got it, let me know. If not, it should be coming. Hi, Jennifer. I do apologize for my hair today. It is so hot here. I am in Maryland in the Mid-Atlantic that by the time you finish taking a shower, you really don't want to dry your hair. It was like 108, 104, 100 and... I mean, once you get over 100, really, it's just so hot. It's really bleh to dry your hair. August 3rd. Thank you. Okay. Hi, Tammy. Thank you for joining. So one other thing I wanted to mention that I am doing my July Kit to Go. Now, I only at this point have the PDF and video tutorial component, but it does use the Sending Sunshine stamp set. And also I used some of the stitched nested dies. I know it's so hot. Okay, Christy, you got yours. Okay, cool. Good to know. Thank you for telling me. So the PDF is available. It's 4 cards, and actually a card we did last week or the week before last is another card that you could do, but it is 4 videos, a full color PDF with instructions, and that is on my blog, Rachthestamper. There is a monthly club drop down button, so if you go to that, you can click it and I will email it to you. I will not be live next Wednesday because we'll be on vacation, but I'll post some pictures while we are doing our thing, and I'm gonna draw some winners when I get back. So keep that in mind. I have a lot of fun stuff to give away. I have some stamp sets. I have some tipsies. I have some fun embellishments. I have a whole basket full of stuff. A whole basket. There's so much stuff in here. Look at all this stuff. A whole basket full of stuff. So leave some comments. What I think I'm going to do is I'm trying to think of something I can do while I'm away. So I'm going to do my best to do it. I can only send prizes to people in the United States because it's really expensive to ship to Canada. I found out one time by shipping something, I thought I was being kind, and woof. Hi, Pam. Glad you're able to join us this morning. You're cooler in the mid-80s. We did have a crazy storm roll through last night, and it was like such a nice breeze. It wasn't a bad storm, but we did get a little bit of rain. I think it's the first rain we've had in like 10 days at least. It is just crazy. Hi, Gail. Good morning. Thanks for joining, Patricia. So anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to play with, and I'll show you the 3 stamp sets. that I got out. So I thought it would be fun to do one with this because we could do blues. So we'll do Well Done. Not exactly sure what we're going to do with this yet, but remember this does have a coordinating punch. And then the other two I got out, I actually saw the idea with Forever Fern. It was a really pretty card. And then the other one I thought we could do that would be nice would be Tasteful Touches. So we'll do blues, maybe like blues and a green or so for the whale. And then we'll do greens. And we might be able to do like, we could probably do like oranges or tans for the Tasteful Touches. Could probably do pinks. There's lots of ideas on what you could do. Many, many things. Also, one thing to note, I cleaned my craft room. I can't believe it. So if you notice, I moved my paper back here, so there's more paper behind me depending on where we are. I kind of moved things around a little bit. So you can see the floor. It's completely vacuumed and clean. It is going to be this way only because I'm going to leave it. I always clean and then come back to a nice craft room, so it's nice. But yes, oh Tina, we certainly do need the rain in Maryland. It is so dry. All the grass is brown. Grass is brown and crispy. It's not pretty. Okay, so I'm going to flip you guys down, so don't mind. Good morning from sunny Florida. So I'm going to pop this off. So look away for a moment. And now you can look back. Something when Rainbow Stamper goes to school. A night Zoom stamping. Oh, we should. That would be fun. We should do that. No bras and no judgments. Donna, you know, I have to do that. I've only been saying I was going to do it for like a year now. Somebody needs to harass me on a daily basis. Because I could do it. Because lots of people in my household, they go to sleep early sometimes. And only problem is where I would be is probably next to them. So I might have to do it in like the kitchen so I can cackle. So we have to do that. That has to be a goal. I need to write that down and pin it somewhere so I can look at it every day to set up stamping after dark. No bra, no judgment. I love it. That's hilarious. So I have my Stampin' Spritzers out. Because we're going to need a Stampin' Spritzer. Now, darn, what did I do with that one I had out? Maybe it's this one is the water? I think it's this one. I filled this one with water. Typically, I fill them with alcohol so they won't get stinky. And you can fill them with re-inker. You can fill them with the shimmer spray. Like this one has Frost White and a Granny Apple Green in it. This one has Peacock. So you can fill them with lots of stuff. I filled one with water today. One thing to note, when you fill them with water, unless you're using distilled water, make sure you empty it when you're finished because if not, it gets really stinky. Same thing goes with the aqua painters or even with these new brushes, which I haven't used these yet. I'm going to make a goal of using these when I come back from vacation. So anyway, these really nice trays, and I got myself a little holder here. Too, by the way. These are available from Crafter Solutions. My friend Lisa and her husband John. John is the creator. Lisa is the marketer. So if you're looking for something like this, they're really, really cool. And I will be giving away some tipsies too. I'm not going to pull any today because I don't think it's fair of me to ask the house sitter to mail things out. But I will do them when we get back. I promise. So what we're going to do... And they have lots of other products too, really cool products. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one of these and I'm going to do them on regular Whisper White. But I want to do maybe one or two of them on thick Whisper White because I'm not quite sure how they'll turn out. So I have a couple pieces here. So it's just thick Whisper White, just our regular 4x5 1/4 panels. So I'm going to do these two on regular, and then I want to do this one on thick. Let me grab. And then I probably think I might just mount them onto thick, just depending on where we go with this. Let me grab my trimmer. That's one problem. When you put things away, then you got to get them back out again, right? Let me cut this. You see, that is really, truly how I cut. If you see that was like balanced on something, that is the real Rachel. I cut stuff on top of other stuff because I am lazy. I'm a lazy stamper. It is 100% the truth. So here's two pieces of thicks. And then we'll use this one for the base for one of them. So I'm going to keep this handy. so I can pull it out. So a couple things you're going to need just to be on the safe side. I have my, I just washed all these from the shaving cream that we did a couple weeks ago in case you missed it. But I have my microfiber towel or some sort of a towel. I'm going to use a couple different blocks. Now one thing, and I should say this ahead of time, with your blocks, you kind of want to make sure they're clean, which I probably should have done this ahead of time. And you run these through the dishwasher, but clean isn't going to give you any marks. So try to make sure they're clean-ish. Everything in my house is ish when it comes to stamping, not everything else. That sounds dirty. I'm not dirty. I'm just lazy. That's all. There's a difference in my mind anyway. So I have I and I have H. I think I'm going to do H to start. You could also do this with, it kind of depends on what you want to do. So we could do this with, I think I'm going to stick with these two because this one is going to take up a lot of space. You could do it with a smaller block. Whoops, if you're just starting. So this is D would be good. I don't know if I'd go down to C because you wouldn't have as much room to add in colors. So here's what we're going to do. Let me move this on the side. We're going to start, we're going to do our whale card first. So we're going to start with, and I only say this because we're going to add something to it. Start with the whale, and let's do Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, and Pretty Peacock. Because I think that's good. I don't want to do 4 because I'm afraid if I do 4, I'm going to mess it up a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open our stamp pad. And we're going to kind of try to put some color. Doesn't have to be a lot. And we're going to go from lightest to darkest. So I'm going to attempt when I do my Bermuda Bay to just put a little bit of color. Not really putting the whole ink pad onto the block. That way we're not contaminating. So there's Bermuda Bay. And then, thank you all for the sharing. I appreciate that. And then we'll go to Peacock. And Peacock is a little dark, so I don't want to put it too far down. All right, so I have those 3. I did make a card coming up for a tutorial co-op I'm participating in, which is really going to be cool for autumn. Man, I got an awesome color combination, so I can't wait to show that to you guys. But here you go. So here's these. So Coastal Cabana, Pretty Peacock, and Bermuda Bay. So then I'm going to move this so it's out of the way. This is just, again, water. I want to spray this because it did have a color in it, just to clear it. So I'm just going to spray this. Don't want it super wet, but you kind of want it so the water moves a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to lift this straight up. I'm going to just wipe this because I don't want to put my cardstock down onto wet. And we're going to flip this over. Whoops. And press. Now, I could have been a little bit more even when I pressed it. And this, so I'm just going to take this and wipe it off. This is a little bit full of color. So you could definitely not fill to the edge if you don't want that roundness. But we even have like a little bit of splatter here, which kind of turned nice. So that will be 1. We'll just do that for now. I'm going to set this on the side to dry before I do anything with it. And then we'll definitely hit this with the heat tool if we need to. So for the second one, what did I pick? Forever Fern. And I'm interested, the reason I say this is, this has coordinating dies with it as well. You can see there's a lot of dies, a lot of stamps. But the reason that I want to do something different is I want to see if there's a difference between doing this on regular Whisper White versus thick. So, all right, we'll go like this. So let's see. So for this one, how about we'll do some greens. So we'll do soft sea foam. I'm just going to start on the other side since it's soft sea foam, pear, and how about, I don't know if I want to do mossy or garden. We'll just do mossy just for the heck of it. I'm going to try to stay away from the end on this one. I know I got the end, oops, on the soft seafoam, so I'm just going to erase just this little round part on both of these ends. Just so we have like a little bit just different to see what it fills in like, okay? So same thing again. I'm just going to take my spritzer. Oh, Lord. Not frozen. Geez, I hope it's not freezing again. If so, I really do apologize. I'm going to spritz this. I'm not going to spritz it quite as much this time. That was only 3. I think I really saturated it because I was trying to get the color to move last time. So I'm just wiping it dry. And then same thing again. I'm going to flip it, and one thing is I probably could use some grid paper or taking my time a little bit more because I'm noticing everything is a little bit crooked. But there's another one. If you do have issues with buffering, maybe go out and go back in, because sometimes that happens depending on where you are internet-wise. All right, so far we have those two. So for the last one, would you guys want to do like something different for this one? We could do this one like more in, not necessarily the same hue like blues or greens, but we could do this in like fall, or we could do like pinks and purples. So I'm going to give it a minute because I know it does take some time sometimes. We could do it in like a couple of in colors. You could do like jade, bumblebee, and cider. Might be pretty. Could also do peacock and terracotta and maybe seaside. We could do it in pinks and oranges or purples. Fall. All right, I got fall. So let's see. I'm going to keep the bumblebee out because I think this is a nice fall. So how about bumblebee, cinnamon cider, pumpkin pie, and I'm going to grab a green because I think sometimes we forget about the green, and I'll do with Granny. So let's see how we can get this one to work. So this one is going to be on the thick Whisper White. I'm going to use my same block here. So let's see. So I'm going to start with Bumblebee. I'm going to go Bumblebee. You could also do this if you wanted to with, I'm just going to remove the round part here. You could also do this with markers. So if you don't, you know, maybe you don't have all the pads. And I'll show you what I mean. That's a little bit of pumpkin pie. So I went bumblebee to pumpkin pie. So just to change it up, you could then do, this is Granny Apple Green. You could just do some Granny Apple Green marker. If you didn't for some reason didn't have the other thing. And then we'll do a little bit of cinnamon cider. There we go. Because I didn't get to the edge on that one. So let's see. So here is a nice fall palette. Cinnamon, Granny Apple Green, pumpkin pie, and bumblebee. So same thing again. One other thing you could do with the spritzer, even with just the water, if we're doing it that way, you can still add the shimmer paint to this because then it'll give you a shiny look to everything. Now this one I'm going to wet a little bit more. And move this over. I'm just going to pick this straight up. I just want to wipe off the extra water. All right, so this one is thick Whisper White, okay? So, oh, this is kind of pretty. And it's funny because you can see what it looks like through there, like the softness of it, but when you lift it, it does look a little bit different. However, so we had a little bit with the orange and the yellow. They kind of gave you that slightly muddy look. You kind of have to be careful with your color choices, which is also why I wanted to keep the cinnamon at one end. So you probably could omit that. So since we have another piece, let's try this one more time. And instead of the cinnamon, I'm going to add in a red. And I'm going to do cherry cobbler. So instead of doing like red, cherry, yeah, we'll do cherry cobbler. So I'm going to try this one more time. Now cherry cobbler is super intense, so that's why I only have just a little bit. So we'll do cherry, Then pumpkin. It's kind of funny because I was thinking about fall today, probably only because it's so daggone hot. But I never know if you guys are ready to do fall, or same thing with Christmas. I know a lot of people have been doing Christmas in July, because people who do make lots of Christmas cards definitely need plenty of time to prepare. So I'll just show you this one. So cherry, pumpkin, green, granny green, and bumblebee. But I don't want to feel like I'm rushing you through the seasons, because I am very happy that summer is here. I do wish it wasn't 850 degrees, but I don't ever want you guys to feel like I'm just like, okay, now let's do this. It was a little hard this year, though, because the way the catalogs are coming out, they're changing the dates of the catalogs. So everything is going to be kind of feeling a little rushed this year, but it is going to even out next year, I promise you. So that looks really pretty, just like that. There it is. You're always ready for fall and Christmas. Me too, Daphne. I kind of feel the same. So I'm going to flip. Now, this one has a little bit more spacing, and you can see that red there wasn't quite as blurred out, but remember, every card's going to look different, and once it dries, it's also going to look different. So there are two fall versions. So let me put these away just so I can get them out of the way, because I know I'm going to need to get some other stuff back out, and specifically blocks. So there are those two. And again, you could change these directions. I just kind of did the same thing. So, thickness versus, it doesn't look like there's a lot of a difference. This is still a little wet. So, pardon me, I'm going to turn on the heat tool. I'm going to heat it up just before I start. And I want to dry these a little bit, and then we're going to add some stuff into them. Okay? So this one we can do kind of as an underwatery card, and we're going to add some other stuff to it. This one was the Forever Fern with the green, so we can add some other stuff. This little speckle thing, I think I'm going to do that for almost every one. We have these little speckles, so I'm going to go ahead and put that, because we can always add that to pretty much any one. You could also do the bubbles for the water card. Put that on one. Like the speckles. You could even, oh, we could add the fish. That would be cool. Let's do that too. It's funny because with blocks, I try to have a lot of blocks when I do my stamp parties, but I think I use more of the same blocks when I'm just home making a card by myself. All right, so I'm going to dry these just a little. So you can see how wet it is behind. It's definitely warped a little bit on the regular Whisper White. You can also just let these sit and dry. Now we can see just from the back here, I used way more water on the blue than the green because the green isn't coming through at all. So I probably could have centered these slightly better, but remember, we can always trim it down if we need to. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work on the blue, and I'll let these set to dry. Once they actually do dry, though, they will absolutely change color. So I'm going to add, might be a little too bright. I'm going to add some navy. So I'm just going to stamp these fish. Ooh, this looks cute. I think the most fun thing and this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, and I know there's lots of people that put so much effort, and I totally applaud them on like their planning of what they want to do. I think I'm going to do Misty instead of Pacific. And they sketch out their cards, and you know, I think that is so amazing. But I am just not that person. And I find that when I just make a card with you guys, which is why I so look forward to doing these, gosh, it really makes my heart happy because I'm just winging it. I guess I'm just more of a winger. I'm going to do that, hoping all your birthday fishes come true. I might have to adjust this a little bit. But I really think I'm just really good at winging things. I guess I'm just not a planny person. Put this. I'm going to put this over here. I don't want to put it too low in case I decide to trim it up a little bit. I want to see. Cute. Now, one other thing I'm going to do, just because, you know, as I say this all the time, I cannot leave well enough alone. It is just a habit I have. I just want to throw in a little Pacific point. So I'm going to do this. Let me move these. I'm going to take my Pacific point marker, and I'm just going to flick. I don't know why. I think that's such a simple thing to do to a card, and it gives just a little extra something. Let me wipe this so I don't contaminate. And I might trim this up a little bit. Let's see. So if we were to put this, we could put it onto Misty would be pretty. I feel like it needs 2 layers, so I think I might trim it up a little bit. So I think I'm going to use a Misty and then a Navy. Navy will be the base. Let's see if I have one handy. Hopefully that's correct. Okay, let me trim these up. So I'm going to start by doing this one. I'm going to take this one down to 3 3/4. And again, you can see it's a little bit warped. That's okay. So 3 3/4 by 5. I'm just doing my best to line this up evenly for the most part. And then this one will go to 4 by 5 1/4. And I just want to make sure this navy layer is actually, yeah, I thought it was a little bit bigger. 4 1/4. Okay. And I'll bring this in because it's easier. 5 1/2. I love that Simply Scored. I use that so much. I think that's probably one of my favorite tools. I know this is a lot of blue, and obviously you're going to have to put a white inside to it, but look at that. It's really very clean. I really, really like that. Okay, so since this is a little bit warped, I'm going to use the Stampin' Seal Plus only because I want to try and get it flat as possible. And I want to make sure I get all the edges, and then just a little in the middle because you really don't need too much. This stuff is very, very strong, which is awesome. I have used the mini cutter occasionally, but one thing I'll say about it, I just wish it was just a little bit bigger. So I wish it was, I think it's like 4 1/2. I wish it was like 5 1/2 because I feel like I would use it more than what I do now. And I'm just going to put this one flat down. So we'll just make this one a nice, no extra to it, just nice and flat. Very simple card. For me, this is simple. I know some people might say, that's a lot of steps, but this is a simple card for me. Which I think is really pretty. Again, we only did stamping. We didn't really do anything extra, so I just wish it was a little bigger. So that's why I still use my big one, because I like to have it for the little tiny strips, which I do use it for that sometimes, but so one other thing, just to tell you this for when you guys do this, if you notice that your card is a little warpy, like this one still is in spots, before you layer it, you could probably still do it now, but if you run this through your die cutting machine, just in between a piece of printer paper, it'll actually smooth it out really nicely. So let me just do it real quick. see if I can grab one. Sometimes you kind of have to adjust, whoops, how you have your sandwich to get this to run through. But, so you just take your card and you just grab a piece of printer paper, copy paper, whatever it is we're calling it. Oh, there's 2 pieces. I don't want 2. Save that one. You just run it through. And the reason you run this through is just so you kind of don't get those little marks from your papers or your plates. Yep, that's too much. Hold on. Let me get rid of this one. So I have my magnetic, which I probably don't need, but yep, you know what? I'm going to have to go back to the other one because this is too thin. Hold on. All right, so I have my regular platform. Let's see if this is correct. Yeah, so this is just, it's just barely applying pressure, but it will flatten it out some, especially if you do it right before you go through with putting the layers together. So try it. You really only need to run through this plate, this one top piece here to flatten it out, but just a little tip there might be helpful to somebody. All right, so there's card number 1. Then for the next one, I know I said we were going to do greens with the fern. Sounds like the boots with the fur. Greens with the fern or the boots with the fur. All right, these stamps, just so you can see, are really, really detailed. So one thing to keep in mind, you want to make sure that you're not using really goopy ink pads, okay? So prior to stamping, so I have a little scrap paper here. Let me move this one over. And what you want to do is test out your stamp. That way you're not adding a goopy stamp to it, okay? Because you want them, they're really, really detailed, perfect, if this isn't over inked. And I don't think that's going to be a good color. I think I'm going to go with Garden and Mossy, because that shade of green with the shaded spruce was just not the tone I was going for. So let me go with Garden Green. Same thing again, though. I still want to stamp this and make sure it looks nice. So I'm going to stamp, and I got a little smudge here, so I'm going to cover that up. Add another one. 2. And then I'm going to go with a different stamp. I'm going to add in these leaves. And I'm going to be the first person right now to tell you that I have not used this stamp set nearly enough because I saw a lot of samples with it. So I kind of just used those. But I think this is a gorgeous stamp set because it has so much detail to it. Kind of almost feel like it's going to be, I don't want to put too much. I'm going to leave it like that because I could have gone wild with it. You guys know me. I'm a lot of extra. So I'm going to stick with that, and then we're going to add in, I'm going to do Mossy for our sentiment. You could use these small ones. You can do this. Sorry, I'm silent. I was thinking of what I wanted to do. So same thing with this. So these cards are pretty simple. I haven't used this one before, so I want to stamp it first. That looks really nice. Now, one other thing that I really want to add to this, because it's pretty, but I want to do something extra. So I'm going to try, where's my little splatteries? Here they are. I'm going to do splatteries, but I want to do them with gold. So I'm going to do my embossing buddy. Try to make sure everything is dry. So when you're embossing on something, I'm going to turn my heat tool on in the meantime. When you're embossing with something, you want to make sure everything's dry. Otherwise, the little tiny things that could be wet might stick to this, okay? So I'm going to grab my Versamark and my gold. Where is it? Gold. Okay, so what I'm going to do, the way you can test this if you want to, after you do your embossing buddy, is you can put a little bit of this, and it should run right off. If anything sticks to it, don't emboss yet. So I'm going to just take my Versamark, and I'm not going to go crazy. Oops. Little color picked up, but they're going to be gold, so you're not going to notice them. Okay, so just those 3 spots. All right, so I'm going to just heat these until they are shiny. Which, if you preheat your heat tool, it should go really quick. So then you have just a little bit of shiny bling on there. So you can, hopefully you can see that. It's very pretty. It's not a lot. Proud of myself. I didn't overdo it. So I'm going to trim this one down as well because I do think it looks a little bit nicer. So I'm going to take this one down to 3 3/4. And might have to trim a little from each side. Let's see. Nope, I think I'm good. I just don't want to cut off what I just embossed. So there's that. Now you could back this with gold foil if you wanted to. I sometimes... And the reason I'm going to say I'm not going to do it this time is because I like to cut something out from the inside and I don't want to make you guys wait for me to cut. So you could also do, here's another quick thing. Actually, where is that? Hold on, I got something I'm going to pull out here real quick. This, if you haven't seen it, this is the new brushed metallic cardstock. So it is copper. This is kind of like a champagne-y, and then there is gold. I'm going to use a little piece of this. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to trim. Now, this is the part where I'm going to not be lazy like normal because I just want a little piece. So this is kind of why I wish that mini trimmer had farther extension because I just want a really little piece. So I'm going to just use a 1/4 inch piece. So if you had like an extension, you could line it up and move it just a little bit, which is what I like about this larger trimmer. So that's probably one of the reasons I don't use it so much. But I do like, I like the bigger one, I guess. And I'm going to cut this down. So we said that was 5. So I'm going to border that so it'll be right on the edge. So we'll do 5 for both of these. And I know these are really little and you're thinking this sounds like it's going to turn into a disaster, but hang tight and I'll show you. So then I'm going to take my silicone mat and I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal, and you don't really need a lot of this. It does work really well. I like this, that you don't need as much as you used to. I know a couple people have had issues with some of the rollers. And if you do, and if you've purchased it and it's not working or something like that, if I am your demonstrator or if you are a demonstrator or if you have a demonstrator, make sure you contact them because Stampin' Up! Will fix it for you. So I just put this on the back and I'm just going to do my very best to just line it up just at the little edge there. Now, I'm not being super particular at my measurement. I'm kind of just eyeballing what I want a little bit to stick out because remember, this is going to pretend like it's our extra layer. So instead of us putting an actual extra whole layer on there, we're just going to use a little piece. Trying to line that up. Looks pretty good. Okay, so there's that. So now I'm going to just put some more on the back here. Okay, and I think for this, because it's really pretty, we could go one of two ways. We could either do Mossy Meadow, or I think black would look really nice. Because when you have that on there with the base of black, it really makes it pop. So I'm going to just hold this before I decide. I like the black, so I have to, unfortunately, trim a piece up because, of course, I have used a lot of black cardstock lately. So I'm going to just cut this at 4 1/4. And I'm just gonna score this real quick. And you totally can fold this. You don't have to score it, but I find that the scoring really makes your lines nicer, because when I just now go to willy-nilly fold it, it always ends up being crooked. So just do that. And then I'm just gonna pick this piece up from my silicone mat. Make sure I have it opening correctly. And try to center this because it is a little bit slimmer. I probably could have kept it to 5 1/2 since I put that extra layer on there. But I still think it looks really nice. So we just used a little teeny bit of that brushed metallic cardstock. So that comes in 12 by 12. So again, you get gold, kind of like a champagne-y, and copper. I just want to get this little smudge of extra glue off. You can also use an adhesive remover if you wanted to. Okay, so there's that. Definitely going to need a white piece on the inside so it stands out. So 2 cards, totally different. This one has a little bit more zip to it, but I think they're both very pretty. Okay, so we have, what time are we on? 10:09, so we should have time to finish these last 2. So we're going to make these 2, we're going to attempt to make these 2 into fall cards. So, I'm going to do one of these the way I wanted to do it, and I'm going to grab one more because I thought this would be a neat idea. Hold on one sec. Where is it? So I'm going to do these same card style 2 different ways, okay? So Gather Together, that one carried over from last year, and then Forever Fern. I originally said I was going to use this one, but I'm going to skip it. Might use the Sentiment. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick 2 things. Kind of go with that one. I think I'm still going to do my dots. Let me clean this off for what I want to do. That. And this one. Actually, I'm going to do this and a pumpkin. And hopefully you guys are going to like what comes of this. So that's a little bit bigger. This a little bit smaller. All right. So here's what we're going to do for these. This one needs a block. And that. We are going to do this in black. So I'm going to grab my scrap because one of these mementos, if you guys remember, I way over inked it and it's kind of been a little crazy since. So I just want to make sure. I don't want it goopy. When you have something like this, you really want the fine lines. That looks pretty good. All right. So I'm going to do my maple leaf on one. And then you guys can tell me which one you like better out of these 2 cards, because I'm going to finish these, whoops, pretty much the same. I feel like that's a little goopy. Okay. Okay, there's one. Now, I'm not going to, add the sentiment yet. So this one's going to be one. And then we're going to do this one. Same thing again. I'm going to test this out because I haven't used this stamp before. I just want to make sure it looks okay. Looks nice. Whoops, just dip that in the black. And this one I'm going to just do one. Just like that. And then these little doodads. Okay, now, oh, look at that. I put my darn ink thing in it. Oh, well. We're going to have to wait for this to dry and potentially erase it. Let's see. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do both of these. Could do hello for this one, might be nice. I'm going to say Season of Thanks for this one. And there's one. I'm going to leave that one alone. This I'm going to have to fix because that's going to drive me bonkers. And how about for this one, we'll just do hello. I don't know where that goes. Now it's making me wonder, you know what? I didn't even use the right one. I wanted to use this because this one was bigger, but it was a little bit more spread out. I used the bubbles instead, so oh well. All right. Oh, I thought I was crooked, but that's not so bad. Okay, so let me move these little stamps back. Finish this. You could totally do the same thing where you added in a little bit of that gold embossing powder. Would look really, really nice. I'm going to see if I can make sure my hand's clean. See if I can erase this real quick. Should work. You just have to be careful because this does actually remove a layer of the paper. So if you erase long enough, you'll end up with a hole. So, nah, pretty black. It's not really going anywhere. So we might have to trim this up a little bit more than I originally was intending on trimming it. So let's do this. Got to be careful when you're working with the black ink so you don't goof it up. All right, I'm going to trim this down 3 3/4 by 5. There's for 1. Let's see, what do we think we can get rid of on this one? I'm going to make this to 5. And we might just have to cut this one as a little bit shorter of a card. This one will be 3. So this is like a slim line. 3 by 5. And then let's see. So I think these would be really nice. You could obviously back this onto black if you wanted to. I know one of these, I got out a piece of white that I wanted to use. Let's see. That one. This obviously needs to be trimmed up a little bit because of the matting, but I think we could put a layer behind this. And then this one I think I'm going to put onto black. So here's what we're going to do. Let me see what this looks like size-wise. So this one works. So this one's just going to need a layer. This one needs to be trimmed just a little bit. 4 1/4. And one other thing. I think I'm going to put some color behind both of these. Maybe this one, we could do a little bit of cherry. Might be a little dark, but I think I'm going to use it anyway. You could probably also, if you wanted a little bit different, go with Mary Merlot. Let's see what this looks like. It's a little too short, but I am going to go with the cherry because I like that a lot. It looks really nice. Cut that one up. And for the other one, I'm going to go with pumpkin pie. So I just have some scrap pieces here. These are just things that probably I originally started as a card and maybe it didn't work out. So I'm going to trim this one. So we said we wanted 4. And this one I think I'm going to keep so it's just lined up. So let me trim this down to 5. So this one is going to just sit kind of right like that. So there's one. These 2 pieces I'll put back and use for another scrap. And this one, I probably was originally doing a fun fold card, but since I don't want y'all to have to wait too long. I'm going to cut this down. So 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, and then we're going to mount these and we should be all done. Oop, one other thing I forgot. Let me just do these two real quick. Just have to score these two just in the center. So really simple cards, not a whole lot of supplies. I mean, I used 3 different stamp sets, but you certainly don't have to. You could use whatever you like. Let's see. This one's going to look nice with that nice lining. And then this one, I'm just going to be very careful when I line it up so I can try to hide those score marks that I have underneath, but should be perfectly fine. I am going to use liquid glue for both of these. That way if I need to adjust it a little bit, I have the room to do so. Put this on the back of this one. Okay, I'll do this one first. So again, I'm just kind of trying to hide those score lines, but make sure it's even. And just because we use water in this, I just want to hold this just for a second. It's definitely dry now. Hold that for a sec to make sure it works. This one is obviously going to need a white piece on the inside if you want to write, unless you want to write in white pen, which I guess you could, but I haven't found a white pen that writes nice enough for me yet. This is really pretty. Very simple. Little bit of scraps used up there. So this one I'm going to just lay on top. This is a pumpkin pie layer. Again, we did this one 4 by 5 1/4. Could definitely add some gold to this. Would, I think, really make it very pretty if you wanted to add a little bit gold embossing. Kind of to any of these cards, really. Would make them nice. And then this is going to go on a thick Whisper White layer. You definitely want to use thick Whisper White if you're doing a base. Whisper White is very flimsy for a card base, so. And this one I think I smudged just a little bit when I put that on there. There we go. Okay, so let me move this out of the way so you can see what we ended up finishing up with. So there are 2 fall versions. What did I do with my other cards? Here they are right in front of me. And then we have a regular version. You could use this for any kind of a birthday. And then we have like a encouragement card. So really pretty. I did get a little bit crazy with my glue here, so I'm going to end up going back to clean that up a little bit. But I hope you guys like these. I think they're really fun. One other thing, you could also use this little corner splatter. So in the Gather Together, you could use the wheat if you wanted like a little something different there. So these do have a lot of stamps, a lot of different things, a lot of different components. Plus this one also, if you get the dies, it has dies for all of these. The double pumpkin, the single, and the maple leaf. So that's really fun. Forever Fern also does have coordinating dies. Lots. This one actually has lots of dies. So you can cut lots of different things as well as the things that coordinate. It's got some little embellishing doodads, I always call them. I need to run those through so I can see what everything does. And then we come back to Tasteful Touches, which we didn't use. But I love Tasteful Touches because it has some amazing die cuts that don't necessarily cut out the things, but they go along with it, which are really very handy to have. And then last but not least, we also have Whale Done, which does have a coordinating whale punch, but I've fussy cut some of these other guys out too, which I think they look really, really cute. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this today. I certainly have enjoyed stamping with you. Stay tuned on Saturday. We actually have a blog hop that I have to finish my card up for Team Stamp It. So that will go live on Saturday at 10 a.m. You can get started right here at rachthestamper.com. And I believe I'm going to do a video to go along with my card, which is why I haven't finished it thus far. But I thank you guys so very much for joining me today. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. You can leave me a message here. You can send me a message on Facebook Messenger. If you don't know my email, maybe you're new to this channel, it is rachthestamper@gmail.com. And if anyone happens to be watching the afterplay, I do post this to YouTube. You can leave a comment here as well. If you click on the subscribe button, it'll let you know. Actually, you want to do subscribe and notify, or I should say the bell, because it will let you know when I go live, when I post a new video, all that kind of stuff here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, as always, for joining me. I do go live every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then a lot of times in between on YouTube or Facebook unannounced. So if you are subscribed to me, it will be easier for you to catch me when I'm live. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful week. I look forward to stamping with you again real soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.